Okay, so what is the problem? Well, obviously we have a square here. It looks like a square and we're being told it's a square. And we have some additional information. We're saying that the perimeter of this square is 12x plus 20. And the question is, what is the area of the square? Now, the area of the square in this particular problem is not going to be an actual number. It's going to be an algebraic expression because the perimeter is given to us not as a number, but some sort of algebraic expression. So what we really want to do here is express or write the area in terms of this variable x, given that the perimeter of this square is 12x plus 20. So if you think you know how to solve this problem, put your answer into the comment section. I'm going to show you the solution to this problem in just 1 second. Of course, I'm going to cover this step by step in one moment as well. But before we get going, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is John. I'm the founder of TC Math Academy. I'm also a middle and high school math teacher. I've been teaching math for decades. It's my true passion. I love teaching mathematics, and I am convinced that all students can be successful in mathematics. Okay, now if you have the desire to learn math, even if you've been struggling, failing math throughout the years, maybe you hate math, it doesn't have to be that way. What you need is encouragement, and more importantly, you need great math instruction, clear, understandable, and comprehensive. So if you need help in your current math course, or maybe you're studying for some sort of special test, something like the ASVAB, GED, SAT, ACT, maybe a teacher certification exam, anything with a math section on it, or if you're homeschooling mathematics, I can definitely help you out. Check out my Math Help program. You can find a link to it in the description of this video. I literally have over 100 plus different math courses that cover all these categories and much, much more. I promise it will help you out big time. Also, I'm going to leave links to my math notes in the description of this video, but hopefully you're taking your own awesome math notes. If you're not, start improving your notes and you're going to see magically that everything gets much easier in terms of mathematics. And if this video helps you out, don't forget to like and subscribe, as that definitely helps me out. Okay, so let's go to take a look at this answer. And then we'll go through the problem. And this is a kind of a pretty typical type of algebra problem that you will face. So here is our square, and we're being told again that the perimeter is 12x plus 20. So we can express the area as 9x squared plus 30x plus 25. Now, some of you may have two binomials, and I'm going to suggest that you multiply these binomials. And if you do this correctly, you should end up with this as your answer. Okay, I'll show you these binomials here in a second, but it's always kind of more appropriate that you finish the problem by doing this multiplication to end up with an expression like this. But this is the answer. Okay, so how did you do? Well, if you knew how to do this problem, okay, and you got this right, let me give you a nice little happy face, an A plus, a 100%. Doesn't it feel good to get these 100%? That's so awesome. Nowadays, as a matter of fact, I'm going to throw in a few extra stars, but nowadays people get like crazy grades. They get like 150%. I mean, back in the good old days when I went to school in the 70s and 80s, like the most you could get at a GPA was like 4.0. I mean, that was like, you were like an amazing person, but now you get like 10.6 and stuff. I mean, I guess that's awesome. Maybe people are just smarter. I don't know. But anyways, nice job. Let's go ahead and get into the solution to this problem. All right, so here we go. So here we have a square. And again, we're being told what the perimeter is, but we need to understand what is the perimeter? What does that mean? And let's learn a little bit about a square. Hopefully, you know something about a square. You probably know what it looks like. This looks like a square. But what is a square by definition? Well, a square is let me give you some technical terms. It's a quadrilateral, okay, which means it's a four-sided polygon where all the sides are equal and the corners here are 90 degrees, okay? So that's kind of a rough well, not rough. That's pretty precise in terms of a definition, but the corners are 90 degrees. Okay, so that's part of a square, and the sides are all the same length. Okay, so that is what a square is. Now, what is the perimeter of not only a square, but any object? Let me go ahead and just erase this. Well, the perimeter is the sum around an object, okay, or a figure. So in other words, if I add up this side plus this side plus this side plus this side, that is the perimeter, okay? So that could apply to anything. Let's suppose I had some crazy looking figure like this, right? And I wanted to know the perimeter. Well, I would need to find this side, this side, this side, this side, that side, that side, this side, and that side. I add all this up, and that is the perimeter, okay? So hopefully you understood that as well. So again, the perimeter is being expressed as some sort of algebraic expression, 12x plus 20. So we want to find the area of this square. So what is the perimeter again? Well, it's all four sides. In this case, the perimeter of a square. So side plus side plus side plus side. Or we could write that as 4 times s, right? Where s is the length of the side of the square. Now, the area, okay, we're being asked to find the area of this square or express the area of this square. We would need to know what the area of a square is. So the area of a square is equal to the side times the side, all right? Now, this would be pretty close to the area of a rectangle, where it's length times the width, right? So the area is equal to length times the width here. The length and the width are the same, so it's just s times s. So the area is equal to s times s, or s squared, okay? All right, so hopefully you knew these concepts, you knew what perimeter was. If you didn't, that's why I kind of review these things, because I don't assume anything when it comes to what you may or may not know. I mean, if you're watching this video, one, thank you very much, but two, I assume that you are learning something, and this was an easy problem, like super, super easy. You're like, I know everything that he's going to say or what I'm going to talk about. But if you're interested in this problem, then let's review these terms so you walk away with a complete understanding of all the concepts involved. All right, so here we have perimeter. Okay, the perimeter of this square is 4 times the side, and the area is side times side, or side squared. So this is all we need to solve this problem. Okay, now if we want to find the area of this square, we're going to need to know what? What piece of information are we going to need to know? We're going to need to know the length of the side, okay? So I need to get at least one side. If I know this side, I know all four sides. So if I get the side, I can take that side, multiply by that side, and I will get the area. So my objective is, how can I get the length of one side if I have the perimeter? Well, let's go ahead and solve for the side. So we know 4s is equal to the perimeter. So I could set up a lovely equation here. So let's go and do that now. Okay, so here's the perimeter. We know the perimeter is equal to 12x plus 20, and the perimeter in terms of a formula for a square is equal to 4s. So what I want to do here is solve for s. Okay, I want to get an expression where s is equal to something else, because this is basically one side, right? One side of the square. So let's go ahead and solve this equation. So 12x plus 20 is equal to 4s. So remember, sometimes students get confused about this. Let me just make sure no one's confused. So here I have the left-hand side equal to the right-hand side of the equation. So if this is equal to this, I can write it this way, or I can write the right is equal to the left. In other words, I'm going to put the 4s on this side and the 12x plus 20. That's totally allowed in algebra, so don't let that confuse you. So now I want to solve for s, okay? So I'm going to be dividing both sides of the equation by 4 to solve for s. But before I do that, I know I'm going to be dividing both sides of the equation by 4. I'm going to look at these terms right here, and I'm like, you know what? I noticed that both of these have 4 as a factor. In other words, 12 is 4 times 3, and 20 is 4 times 5. So let's go ahead and just factor out a 4 right now, because this is going to make our life much, much easier when I divide both sides of the equation by 4. All right, so let's go ahead and divide now both sides of the equation by 4. And we have 4 divided by 4, which is s. That's excellent. That's what I want. And here, these 4's cross cancel, right? These are like factors. So that leaves me with 3x plus 5. So we have one side of this square being equal to 3x plus 5. And remember, that's what we needed to find out to express the area. All right, let's go to do that now. Okay, so here is our square we just solved for one side. Again, that's 3x plus 5. So how would I find the area of a square where the side is equal to 3x plus 5, easy. I'm simply going to just square that, right? Or multiply 3x plus 5 by itself. So the area is the side times the side, or side squared. So in this case, the side is 3x plus 5, so it's 3x plus 5 times 3x plus 5. Now, if some of you had this as your answer, I'm going to go ahead and give you a happy face. And matter of fact, I'll give you an A, not an A plus. And if this was some sort of test, I probably would give you like 97 out of 100. And a lot of you are like saying, come on, Mr. Math teacher, that's kind of mean, right? You're like, hey, what are you talking about? Give me the full credit for this problem. Well, listen, hold on here. Hold on one second. This is correct, but when you're given things like this, your teacher is going to want you to kind of take it to the next level and basically finish this up by multiplying this out. Okay, it's pretty typical, but again, most teachers, depending on how nice they are, will give you most credit for the answer at this stage. But imagine if this was like a multiple choice question and you had like A, B, C, and this was not an option. You're like, I don't know, I'm like, you're right, but you don't know how to identify your answer. Well, again, you got to finish this problem up by multiplying. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we have a binomial times a binomial. So here you just want to use the FOIL method. So let's go to do that here. That's first, outer, inner, last. Okay, so if we don't know how to multiply binomials, again, this is all basic algebra. I would suggest in this particular level of algebra, probably like my Algebra 1 course, if you really want to learn this stuff with me in my formal instruction. So we have 3x times 3x, it gives us 9x squared. 3x times this 5 gives us 15x. 5 times that 3x gives us another 15x. 5 times 5 is 25. And then we'll go ahead and put this all together. These are like terms, so that's 9x squared plus 30x plus 25. There you go. That is the area of this square, given that the perimeter is equal to 12x plus 20. Okay, so let me just go ahead and show you that work right there, just in case you want to review it for yourself. But remember, most of these problems in algebra are going to work the same kind of way. Okay, in other words, you're going to have to know the formula for any particular figure that you're working with, and more importantly than that, you're going to have to understand the concepts. Like what is area, what is perimeter, and this definitely is really, really important when you're dealing with basic geometry. Like if I told you, what is the circumference of a circle? What is that? Well, the circumference of the circle is effectively like the perimeter of a circle, right? It's basically the distance around a circle. The distance around this square is called a perimeter, but the distance around a circle is called the circumference. So again, mathematics is a language. You got to learn the nouns, you got to learn the definitions of words, because if you're throwing stuff, on your paper, then you really don't know what you're, writing, right? So if you just remember that math is a language, just like any, English language. If you're going to write a term paper or some sort of paper for your English teacher, what are you going to do? You're going to try to be nice and neat and organized and logical, because someone has to read what you're trying to, express. No different in mathematics. That's why it's critical that you are neat and organized. And hopefully, I am trying to set a good example for you. But again, if this video helped you out, if you found it interesting, even in the slightest, don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your mathematics adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.